What, gang of Lane, Carolina Jackpot Time coming at you on Wednesday morning. I hope everybody's doing good today. Doing pretty well. Is Colin getting to anybody? It's got my eye. This is my left eye. Looking at me, it's my right eye. It's got it all messed up, itchy, watery. It's bothering me. But other than that, I'm good. I'm sneezing a little bit. Hey, looking at some stuff that's been going on the past couple of days. So the Gamecocks got spring practice going on, as we know. Got the press conferences going on. Apparently yesterday was the first day they were in pads. They got the press conferences going on with the position coaches. And something that I noted yesterday while watching the press conference from wide receivers coach Mike Fury, talked about the development of the younger players that were freshmen on the roster last year. Talked about the incoming freshmen and the impact that they're going to make on the program. Donovan Murph was one that he spoke highly of, who isn't even on campus yet. He's actually still a senior in high school, or actually a junior in high school, excuse me. He reclassified, so he's got to graduate early, and then we'll be there for fall camp. Amazing. Talked about the young man as if he has a body that's already built for the college game, which is scary for someone that might be 16 years old, maybe. I mean, what were you when you were in your junior year in high school in the spring? You were 17 or you were 16, so that's pretty scary and yet impressive. But good for us, I guess. Talked about Nick Harbor's development. Some more, which is some good news there. One thing that I did note that it's interesting to me. I guess it could potentially be a good thing, but I don't really care for it. They asked him about taking players out of the portal in the wide receiver room and why the decision was made not to bring in any wide receivers from the portal during the winter portal period, I guess. Apparently this was something that was discussed with Coach Beamer and was discussed with other staff members, and so basically he's making us believe that, well, we like the group that we have. They're cohesive. They're all improving, yada yada yada. And if we bring in someone out of the portal, it's got to be the right fit, and it will ultimately take reps away from some of the kids that are already here. Okay, well, I mean, that happens anywhere that you take players out of the portal. That didn't stop you last year from going out and, I mean, you loaded up. I mean, I think you brought in 3. You tried to bring in 4 initially, I think, wide receivers out of the portal. The one ended up flipping on you and going to Boston College. And then the other clown that you got from Louisville ended up turning right back around and going back to Louisville. So Fury has made us believe in the press conference yesterday that it would be because these players may not have aligned with what we want to do as a Gamecock culture. Maybe they weren't a fit. Some of the players they were looking at, he noted that a lot of players were, perhaps wanting to come to play at South Carolina. Whoa. You must be used to driving in New York or some shit. Because I'm pulled up against the curb. That was scary and also unnecessary. Damn, oof. I checked my britches for Dookie after that one. Here's my thing. I think it was because you didn't have the money to get who you want to get, quite frankly. Or either that or you were turned down. I know that South Carolina went after KC Concepcion, the North Carolina State former utility player slash wide receiver slot guy, kind of do everything type player. But he ended up going to Texas A&M. I think the money probably wasn't right there, and he was probably one of those who wanted probably too much for his services based on his production at North Carolina State. But I think that sends kind of a message to the fans that, look, we're not planning on bolstering up that room with the portal. We're not even going to think about it, because you do have a spring portal window that's going to open up. So I guess we're not going to plan on even looking at the spring portal window if we're Gamecock fans, because I guess they're done as far as taking receivers here. And I just think that's the wrong way to go. Yes, I know you have kids who are in there. Yes, I know they've busted their ass. Yeah, I understand that. It happens everywhere, though. That's every school. Every school says that. I don't think that's a smart move myself. But I mean, who am I? Paid out a ton of money to Lenore Sellers in NIL. Paid out a ton of money to Dylan Stewart in NIL. God knows how much else you paid out in NIL to other players. I mean, it's not a bottomless pit. So there we go with that. What else? Baseball team at South Carolina, absolutely atrocious. Loses again last night, 13-8. This time to North Carolina in the Charlotte Knight Stadium in downtown Charlotte, North Kakalaka. This is bad. This is even Mark Kingston level bad, because even Kingston was beating UNC in this. They play just about every year. They play in Charlotte around this time of year in a midweek game against the Tar Heels. And South Carolina normally has been the aggressor in those matchups and has won, but not so last night. Grandpa and the bunch dropped this one 13-8 after South Carolina was winning early. Once again, your starting pitching falls apart. Your bullpen's not any good. I mean, at least you scored 8 runs, I guess. We take that as a moral victory. No, there are no moral victories there. This team's absolutely terrible. You're probably going to get swept again. Let's just go ahead and say it. You're going to get swept at home this weekend by Tennessee. They're ranked number 1 in the country for a reason, because they're really, really good. And that will be the 3rd sweep of the season. And we'll barely be out of, I don't even know if we'll be out of March. So yeah, I'm not too satisfied with that, as many fans are not. There are already, a lot of folks out there who are, just calling for this Paul Mainieri experiment to end. I mean, this guy's, I get that older coaches do work at some points, but it's usually an older coach who's, and I'm not making fun of old people, I'm really not, but that usually works out with someone who's been somewhere. Say he's been here for 25 years and he's still winning. Like you're, I don't know, Joe Paterno said, well, he had some bad shit happen there the last of his tenure at Penn State, but a Coach K situation, I guess, would be more along the lines of what I'm talking about. Not someone who's trying to come in and rejuvenate a program. It's just not working out, and I don't think that it's going to work out. People can say, well, you don't have the talent right now. Well, they're not doing the little things that you can see that don't require a lot of talent. They're just not playing good baseball. I know a lot of eyes are on Tennessee associate head coach Josh Elander, who bounced around the minor leagues a little bit after his stint in college at TCU. He's the associate head coach there. He has been since 2022. Of course, they won the national championship last year. Were really, really dominant. I don't like that grease monkey head coach they got right now. I think he's he seems like a more mature version of Lane Kiffin to me, in a baseball sense, which, I don't like that guy, but he's winning, and this is one of his proteges here. A lot of eyes on him in terms of turning the program around, possibly getting a head coaching gig somewhere wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, I don't think they need to keep people around that have ties to Ray Tanner. This guy made horrible hires every time you turned around in all sports. I mean, the jury's still out on Shane Beamer. The jury's still out. Yeah, he had a 9-3 year last year, but I mean, we got to see some consistent results. Got to see some consistent results. Here comes Carolina Jackpot again. Hate no Coach Beamer. Ain't nothing he does good enough for you. Nope, I'm not saying that at all. Not saying that at all. I'm just telling you that one really good season, one overachieving season, does not a successful hire make. It doesn't. So we'll see. I mean, I'm happy with what he's done last year, and basically happy overall with what he's done. He's overachieved 3 out of the 4 years he's been there. You can't ask for a whole heck of a lot more, but you're setting yourself up for having higher expectations in the future. So we'll need to see that from him. But not happy with these hires that Ray Tanner's been making. Lamont Paris has apparently been a swing and a miss. Just abysmal seasons. 2 years out of his 3 in basketball, and 1 last year, I think, was really much a fluke run. It was terrible. The way we had the season this year, just really bad. That's depressing. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about somebody I don't like real quick to wrap this video up. Clemson. These idiots over here on Twitter, I saw them yesterday. There's one Twitter, they're a pretty large Twitter account, well, fairly large, I guess, gets a lot of interaction. Twitter account from Clemson. Clemson Addict is what he's calling himself right now. He used to call himself something different. And hey, it's fine. I enjoy the banter back and forth, but this is one that gets up under my gears sometimes. I try to go back with him, and he won't go at me. And I want him to go at me. He won't go at me because if you're out there listening, and I'm sure you probably are, Clemson Addict, we know it's because you know that I will verbally eviscerate you and will hit you with facts, and that will hit you in the feels. So you don't want no part of that shit. So you won't go back and forth. But anyway, the Clemson Addict retweets some kind of poll, or that someone had come up with on some sports site somewhere, and don't ask for details. But it was the top 10 coaches in college football who have the most approved this season. And Dabo was on there at number 8. And so this clown retweets it, and he's like, LMAO, Dabo won natties in 16 and 18. He doesn't have anything to prove to anybody. This is one of the winningest coaches of the 2010s. Okay, pump the brakes a little bit. The reason why he has a lot to prove is actually a little bit of a compliment to your 2025 team. They have some pretty high expectations this year. Cade Klubnik's coming back. I think he's like 2nd or 3rd in the Heisman voting odds, which is freaking ridiculous to me. But it is what it is. He had a really good season last year. You've got some really good wide receivers coming back. I think the core of your offensive line's coming back. The core of your defense is coming back. You got to get the running back position figured out. But I think that Garrett Riley and Dabo can probably rub those 2 pea brains together and come up with somebody that can tote the rock. So there's high expectations there. But he's been consistently losing more and more games every year since 2021. The program has fallen off from what it was in the 2010s. Now he has the squad to perhaps make a run. On paper, he has that squad. So therefore, they're saying he has a lot to prove this year. Can he return this team? Can he get them to the playoffs, and not just get them to the playoffs? I know you made the playoffs last year. Yes, you backdoored your way in. It was a fluky damn way to get in. Fuck it, I don't care what anybody says. It was a damn fluky ass way to get in. It was. It was Miami got you into the playoffs because you wouldn't have even been in the ACC championship game. You didn't deserve to be there. SMU though was fool's gold, and you beat them, which you should have. Miami would have beat them if Miami wasn't shooting themselves in the foot, which they routinely do, and that's why they didn't make the ACC championship game. But they're talking about Dabo going to the playoffs, winning a game, winning a second round, a third round game, perhaps making it to like the Final Four or something, maybe even making a natty game appearance again. That's what they're talking about when they say he's got a lot to prove with the squad. So, I mean, I don't necessarily think that's a knock on your program, but taters take anything that you say about Dabo. All right, well, when they were losing games a couple years ago, what they lost 4 games, in 2023, right? They finished, 8-4. I remember when Tyler from Spartanburg was calling in, all y'all were jumping all over Dabo's shit then, and y'all were piling up and siding with Tyler from Spartanburg. Tyler was right, blah, blah, blah. And then, he comes out this year and he takes you back to the playoffs, and, all is right with the world, and yada, yada, sing Dabo's praises, kumbaya, join hands, Jesus loves me, and this is just the greatest place in the world. I mean, guys, you got to either decide, are y'all dissatisfied with him, or does he walk on water? Because it can't be both. It can't be both. I know winning cures a lot, but you heard me just a minute ago talk about Shane Beamer. Yeah, winning cures a lot. I talked about him, but I still said the jury's still out on whether or not he was a good Ray Tanner hire or not, because he had one successful season, and to me, that doesn't solidify him in that regard. Anyway, that's about all I got to say today, guys. I got to go in here and get back to work. I've got myself behind, running my mouth about college football and sports, but I'm passionate about my Gamecocks. I'm trying to give you some news and notes and let you know what I've heard, and I'm also passionate about hating the Clemson Taters. Fuck those mangy, redneck, mouth-breathing sons of bitches. I'm going to make fun of them at every turn, poke at them at every chance I get. I will see you guys later on. Appreciate it. Peace. I'm out of here. Go Gamecocks. Woo!